All right, we are good.
Um, uh, it's 5:14. I'm calling this meeting to order. Um, the first line item that we have is the approval to the agenda. Um, is the motion?
So moved.
We have a second. The second line item that we have is the consent of the minutes from our last meeting in March 27, 2024. Is that a motion?
So moved.
Again, I want to welcome everybody. I just saw that there was a new parents that joined us today, and thank you again for joining our committee. And also, we have some other subcommittee that we have here. Like if you also would love to join, you can talk to Jilly. They'll be having meetings outside this committee as well. Um, yeah, so we were supposed to have the two other board members here, Angel and Michael Nina. So they weren't able to come today. I'm gonna introduce them to our next meeting. The next line item that we have is a presentation by Sudenso. In my understanding, because we changed our meeting time a lot, as you can see, there's really no one here because we had a scheduling conference, especially with the regular school board meeting and a special meeting that we need to have for. So that is why. So Julie gonna.
Yeah, so we can share it. Do you have it up on the thing or you need it?
So I think that what we can. So since that we don't have somebody a representative from CEDEX, so is that we're gonna look into the presentation together and also write down questions that we have regarding the presentation so we can send it to him or so when he can so he can answer the questions via email and also we're gonna give you another opportunity to come to our next meeting as well.
Would it have been Aaron? When Aaron is on.
Yes.
So Chairman, this is a visual presentation.
Correct.
For Sodexo's quarterly reporting.
Yes, so yeah, we're supposed to have Aaron because of the schedule. We changed it 2 times. The Mr. President recommended it, so which is good.
Thank
Um,
Grab one of the other computers. She told me about how to
I thought I said Aaron, so I was waiting for the second one, so that was.
I think when we wait, we can have the parents. So I know we have a parents here that wanted to speak to the committee. If you can again share your name and yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a handout
Yes, please.
to help explain my agenda, try to be brief here. But my name is Mark Brody, and I have 3 children in school now. The one is graduating this year, but the other 2 are in 9th grade and will be in the school system for another 2 years. I have twin girls who are at classical. And they went through much of the Providence public school system, although they did spend some time at just a year in what do you call it, alternative schools. But anyway, the subject that I'm going to talk to you about is trying to encourage you to pass a policy that would ban cell phones in school. And there's a fair amount of literature on this. Many articles showing that schools that pass a ban on cell phones, they see many fewer behavioral problems, the grade point average of the students goes up. The atmosphere in the school is greatly enhanced by having a cell phone ban while in school. And I can tell you from hearing my own children tell me that there are a lot of kids who are pretty much checked out of school. They're on their cell phones, their attention is very intermittent. Even if they're not on their cell phone, they will be distracted thinking about how long before I get to check my next text message or something. So it's a really distracting force in school. And there's a lot of data that suggests that the removal of these cell phones from school tremendously enhances kids' educational experience. To say nothing of the teachers. I don't think I know any teachers who would say, yeah, I think I need to have more of my kids on cell phones while I'm trying to teach. No, they're just totally exhausted by that task. And there's a guy named Jonathan Haidt. My background, by the way, I was trained in child psychiatry. Right now, I don't do that. I do integrative healthcare here in Providence. I have a private practice. But, I have a particular interest in child health and mental health. He wrote this book, which just came out, called The Anxious Generation. And what is it about? The effect of cell phones on child mental health. Okay, and he's talking about children. He's not talking about little kids. He's talking about, middle school, high school kids. And he shows all the research studies that show that basically child mental health in different ways, boys and girls. Girls seem to be affected more than boys, but boys are affected very negatively too. About having cell phones. And I think anything we can do as parents to curtail our child's cell phone use is good, but what can you do? It's like an addiction. And so it's very difficult to pry that thing out of your hands, especially when you got one in your hand.
Right.
Because a lot of us are addicts too. So anyway, I would encourage you to read the articles. If you're really ambitious, have a look at this book, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. He's a professor of moral psychology at NYU. Very, very well done book, basically documenting all the negative health effects, particularly mental health, on children. And I'm talking about school-age children. So I would, if I could I'm not a member of the committee, but if I could make a motion, I would say, could we consider possibly sometime in the near future having a ban on cell phones in Providence schools? They can bring it to school, but just put it in your locker or something, that's a locker, or just, they're not allowed in school, whatever seems to be most practical. I don't know, but I think it would really help teachers and the whole atmosphere of the school if we didn't have cell phones in school. So that's basically all I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me speak. Anybody have any questions?
Just like
I have a question, yeah. Well, it's sort of a FYI, and also I'm not the best person to fill this in, so my colleagues can maybe join me. But I know there are pilots at some of the middle schools, at least one of the middle schools in the district, where they're doing what you are suggesting, and it's had pretty positive feedback, I would say, so far. I don't actually know what the status of that
Are you
is,
talking about the
so,
yonder pouches?
sorry?
Are you talking about the yonder pouches?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are horrible.
Oh, tell me more.
So, the yonder pouches were implemented last year, on a volunteer basis, and I guess one school started it and then it spread and spread, so I'm not sure which school they implemented it. What it is it's a pouch that magnetically closes. You go to school, they check, make sure your phone's in the pouch. At the end of the day, they set up the magnet so you can get it unhooked and have access to your phone again. Your phone is supposed to be off while it's in there. If they find a phone on your person, they'll take it and get it at the end of the day. It's something that's good in theory, but there's a lot of faults in it. First of all, it was, and this isn't, don't quote me because I don't know my information from it, I believe it was $140,000 for the program last year. And basically, and I've spoken to other parents, this isn't just me speaking on it, so I've spoken to other parents, and basically what ends up happening is it's broken down, and now what it is, it's definitely helped with cell phone use, there's definitely less usage, but kids aren't, so at Gilbert, when you go in the well, I can't speak on it right now when it first started. If you go in, if you don't have a phone, you say, I don't have a phone. You sign a piece of paper that says, Aubrey Johnson, no phone. They can't search you. They can't, right? So those,
Not
so
gonna
those,
pat you down or like
Right.
search your
so those,
backpack.
so
Yeah.
those kids that are problematic with phones are the same ones that are gonna say, I don't have a phone,
Mm.
right? Because the ones that are like, oh, I do, or I have it in the pouch, are typically the ones that aren't problematic with the phone.
Mm.
So that's kind of one of the flaws in it. Now, it's also where kids that don't behave bad with phones, kids that don't take advantage of the phones, kids that aren't recording fights or whatever it is, feel like they're being punished. Well, how come I have to put my phone in the pouch when I don't use it except when I need it? And that's not fair, and I'm being punished because of other people's bad behaviors. So that creates that animosity there too. And the biggest problem to me for Yonder comes down to the money, and a lot of teachers had something over their door, or they have something at the front of their desk where you come in, that's where you put your phone.
They had a system already.
Right, there's already a system in place that was free. So this big, huge, financially burdening system came in, with bells and whistles, and like it kind of just folded, kind of back where we started. So I agree. I don't think kids should be using phones the way they are using them in schools. I agree with that. But I think there are systems in place, or there were systems in place that could have been more effective. Maybe they weren't as effective as they could have been, but can be effective, as opposed to spending an obscene amount of money on pouches that.
I would agree with you that a great idea poorly implemented is a waste of time.
Right.
But a modest idea, well implemented, and done without excessive cost is well worth doing.
Right.
So I think the question is, can the program be well implemented? In these research studies, they were able to implement it successfully. I think your concern about, negative blowback from the student population that was using their cell phones responsibly, I don't think that's an issue that would warrant not canceling the program, because of the general benefit. A lot of students who might say, I use mine responsibly, they still can be negatively affected, including my own children, who I think generally do not, they're pretty assiduous students. They do their work, they want to learn. They're more annoyed by the other students who are, and it's distracting to them to see other kids who are not paying attention, come home complaining about it. So even if you're not using it, you're not really losing anything. You could say, why do I lose the right? Well, you're not using it anyway, So you're not losing anything, are you really? I mean, if you're not using it, why do you even bring it to school? So I do think that, based on the research studies, it's proven to be pretty much unequivocal positive. The only question is, can it be implemented in some way that is financially viable and also enforceable? And if you can't do it that way, you won't be able to do it. But I would propose that there are people who have done this. They have done it successfully. We should find out if they did it and see if we can introduce it in a private public school. Okay, so
I also had a chance to visit a couple schools, and a lot of the principal, what they are telling me, that they want this pilot program also to start in the schools. So I think that it's gonna be a great idea, if the whole board, if Ms. Hakim agree, we can send the email to the superintendent, really asking to see if the district can review the success of this program. If this program being successful and parents and complaining,
you're going to find any parents opposing it.
I think we should have it in every school. So that is something that we can work on, and also I'm gonna be sending also a lot of this responsibility to the subcommittee of the health, and Ms. Hakim can help me with that. So we can see a way that we can do it, and maybe to write the resolution. But right now, I think that the appropriate action to do is to talk to with the superintendent to see, okay, a lot of the superintendents requested this, so let's review the program. And I know also some other board members supported this as well. So let's review the program if it has been a success, and we'll be talking more.
Thank you for looking into it.
Thank you so much
Appreciate
for
letting me
coming
speak
with me.
today.
And I just would like to add, Mr. Brody, I think conceptually, I agree that in theory, this would work well. There is another side of the concern, the parental aspect of no contact with your children in the event of an emergency. Those arguments have been heard on my end.
I'm familiar with this.
And, I think there's a level of responsibility that the school, because I've also heard from teachers that students are sitting there on their cell phones, not only on social media, but maybe doing some gambling sites on their cell phones. So that's equally concerning. So I think this is a problem and an issue that, yes, we need to address it and find a way. And to the point of the financial aspect, I think we should be able to find, especially with today's technology, maybe a way to scramble the cell phones so that the social media could be cut off or, keep it for like emergency access only. We should be able to,
Jonathan Haidt talks about that
Yes.
problem of emergency access.
yes.
He says that the schools that have implemented cell phone bans have found workarounds. So
That was
it's
my
not-
understanding. So,
It's a solvable problem.
yes, yes.
Did you want to
Great
add your
proposal.
email, just so I can add you to the
Sure.
committee?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Great, everybody, so thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
for
coming.
coming. you all.
Great proposal.
If you have further questions or can be of help, let me know. I'll be happy to do what I can.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, have a great day.
So I'm just gonna click through, everyone see the info, and what I did was, in the presentation folder, of the Health and Wellness Committee folder, I put a Google Doc, and I shared it with Aaron, so that if you have any questions, you could add the questions right in that document, and they'll go to him, and then he can answer you. Because I won't have any,
Everybody have access to our statement.
Yeah.
so these are the numbers. This is monthly, breakfast participation. So here's the numbers for breakfast, for average monthly participation for lunch. They showed you that from 2022 to 2024. I've seen this in action. Has anyone sent anything up to schools with their
I
composting?
did
Yeah.
see some information on that. I was really
Yeah.
impressed with that. The 7 participating schools, are they all high school level? Are they different grade
I
levels?
think different grade levels. I went to elementary, so I'm not sure where else they are. I went to Barton actually.
Yeah.
And then it looks like they're launching it at West Nessa and Classical next year.
I think that's the thing to know, like how many schools actually participating in this.
Yeah, I don't know who the 7 schools are. I don't know if it shares. This is, no, that, it doesn't share. This is looks like the backpacker program, the schools that are involved in that. And I also added the PowerPoint to the presentation folder. This way, if you need to go back to review it, it's there.
Backpacker food program, if you know anything about that.
Yeah, I know they load backpacks with like food, and then I think it's on a Friday or something, they send students home with backpacks full of, yeah. use their local food partners. Promotions. I remember they talked last time, each month they do some sort of different, they focus, I think, on some sort of, like, whatever it is, of food, so, or they get it from a different, site. No special lunch at high school. That's good.
You know, that changes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that good?
Oh, yeah, they talked last time too about the taste tests that they do at some of the schools. Those are some of the taste tests.
And when you say taste test, is that like during the lunch break?
I thought last time he said they had it out at lunch and then the students could, try it different, yeah.
So from
Oh, you
my,
might know from
Yeah.
one of the buildings.
they do it, so at Gilbert, what they do is they'll do it during lunches. They'll either have it set up like a table at the front of the lunchroom, or sometimes they'll have people go walking around giving the kids samples, or the adults will give them samples of the food.
So if the child likes the sample, can they have the meal, at a future time?
They don't have any, there's not any paper there or anything, but I know like they have like a, I don't know what the title is, a supervisor manager, I'm not sure of the exact title, but they have someone there that's observing and getting feedback and listening. But they don't have anything, that I've seen in paper. But that has been suggested.
Oh, they have the next one says student feedback
there we
survey,
go.
so they must have a survey. New menu items and then they have some of the feedback that they.
They've been, at the end of the year, they've been going around to different schools with surveys.
This is good. So
Menu
the same
item.
students,
Yeah.
like the.
Yeah. So there's like the new menu item, and then would you call it a council, they let them, I guess, vote on what they wanna call it.
Oh, that's good.
And that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to, it's in the folder along with the presentation.
I have a question just about how, like, how do they serve like food like during the summer? I know the district have like different summer programs that's kind of start in July and August. Like how does it work like with the district that when the students I mean when I was in high school I was taking some recovery classes during the summers. And we had, of course, the classes that we had SEDEX would come in certain times.
Mhm.
So I just want a question regarding like summer schools. But I'm gonna ask.
Yeah,
send-
I'm not sure, I
Yes,
mean,
I'm
I
gonna
know
ask. Yeah.
if they're enrolled, like we have ESY, and if there's summer programs, they, like our ESY program has breakfast and lunch, but that's, it runs from like 8:30 to 1:30, so it's, but I'm not sure, like, if they're not in a program. I know last year there were some sites where they can go certain times to get,
Like recreation center.
yes, I'm not sure, but yeah, so that'd be a question.
That's a great question.
I know the answer to that, but.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but
Did you
I
get
wanna,
something?
but I wanna make sure, I'm not sure I'm 100, so I'm looking through my notes before I answer. But I do know that there are sites, and that Sodexo partners with the city, to have lunches. I know one of them is, I think one of them is West End, but I'm not gonna don't prevent anything, so I'll make sure I'm on it before
I wanna say there is like whether it's a calendar or they send out info that tells you when they are, they put them on the website, but you might wanna, double check. With that.
They will feed the kids at the schools as well.
They do, yeah.
Right,
Yes,
because they were asking me today as to what the dates were that were running for summer school, so they could get something together. So,
Oh,
It's important.
Rather than that, thanks to next week's doing a basic job. And it's really taking students' feedback and his committee as well, so.
They also have a parent committee.
Oh, yes.
That's where I get like this information. I remember running the parent committee.
I know he had talked about it before, about we are part of it. So this is-
Do we know if the plant-based day is just a certain day of the week or a certain, how that is going in terms of expansion?
I know it's something they do every month, and they get it from like different places, just like I saw there was something from like Sharpness Farm and things like that, but I don't know how it works and what they, if it's like one day a month that they go out to the schools, I don't know how that works, so I'm sure Aaron, would be able to answer that.
So for summer meals, this is from Aaron's notes that he emailed. He said, we'll be serving summer meals in summer school and parks and recs around the city. And then there's list of open sites. And then there's a link I need on here that I can share with y'all after if you want.
Yes, please.
Please do.
And it says the meals start, do not start until the 25th.
Because last day of school was the 24th, right? Yeah, right, so that makes sense. That was sent out to all parents? Is that accurate?
It was sent to the committee members.
Oh, the committee members.
Yeah.
How if you can send it to me at Tony at the end, and Julie too.
Yeah, absolutely, sure, thank you.
Yeah, so Julie can forward it to the rest of the committee members that wanted to for that question. I'm also thanks you. The next thing is about planning. I know we have changed in our meetings a lot, but I really want to say thank you to our students from Central and Classical, and also the teachers, and also want to thank Judy and also for this committee and for they've been working for almost 4 months and back-to-back meeting and gathering in local partners and it's been a lot of work for them. And also, I'm very thankful. So this is one of the biggest accomplishment. I was actually myself thinking that I had a conversation with superintendents. I'm thinking that we should at least host it 2 times a year if we can, if the district can support us, because the district shared with me that 400 people showed up.
Yeah.
So, so that is a success. I think that this is gonna be a good opportunity for us, to bring our parents and students. Especially students that want to advocate about the mental health and create this awareness in the schools. So again, thank you to students, the teachers, Ms. Akim, Julie, and this whole committee for the hard work that you guys have done.
Thank
Gentlemen, if you have any.
Spearheaded.
Yes, you have any.
I heard so much positive feedback
Yes.
from the vendors and participants alike, and people were coming up to me saying this was the best mental health fair they attended ever, and I was like really taken aback myself. So hats off to you, Chairman, for coordinating all this and leading that as well.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. And also, so we're gonna keep filing with this and also working with Julie, especially. I know the district is having these financial challenges, but I think that if the students coming here after school for those time, they should get paid. And just like there was days like for 4 months, close to 5 months, they will do early meetings. I think that like if they can plan, if they can come early and also stay and come to the committee meeting, I think that the district should give them stipends. So,
We're gonna
Yeah.
start earlier this year.
yes.
Start in September.
Yes.
I mean, at the very least, we will definitely do it at least annually, so.
Yes, I agree. And also, everybody supports this. So, I'm gonna, if you study, hopefully, a resolution from this committee to ask the district to do this. Ask
I would support
for the event to happen 2 times a year, and also for students to be just a little stipend. I think we can do. But there's something, a conversation that we can have. Yes.
Just on that note, I was curious if folks have thought about like asking Blue Cross or neighborhood or somebody to sponsor those.
Neighborhood
events.
did sponsor.
Like sponsor the
Oh,
health
not
fair or
the health
like
fair,
sponsor.
yeah, the health
Because like
fair.
if we're saying stipends, which I totally agree with, but I think budgetarily the district may not be ready to do that. I feel like there are a lot of organizations maybe who are presenting at the health fair who would be interested in that because my sense is that some of them are coming to these meetings, not today obviously, but so they're engaged in that level and oftentimes they have pots of money that they're like trying to give away. So that's my thought is just even reaching out to them, especially the ones I think who come here. So we already maybe have a connection. I don't actually know who they are, but I'm willing to do that if you want to.
Yes.
Have to do that, but
aspect.
that's just the thought that I had in terms of making it also more sustainable because I know it's like a lot of work, and I think we could also sort of ask them if they have people who would help us with the planning. I don't know. I don't want to like speak for you, Julie, but I know like it's just like a lot to do. It's logistically a
Yeah, we
challenging.
met monthly in the beginning and
Yeah,
then we
so
started
great.
meeting like bi-weekly to weekly, just, it was a lot of planning. Miss Shannon across the street at Central, she was a huge part. And,
Right.
The show was students too, so it just to me it makes sense. And also, I think also like the grandfather, if the district can focus on assigning somebody permanent for this committee, to focus on grant, there's a lot of grant that we can be working with different organizations, and
The Department of Health is another one.
You know,
Yeah,
we
we
can-
did get some
yeah, we can
funding for
partner.
it, we were able to do some,
yes, we can partner and create a program and pay students through that. So, that's another thing that we need to speak with the rest of the board and also to the superintendent's team as well. So the next thing that we have is the nutrition and physical activity subcommittee, and
Sorry, I just have, and I don't think anyone in here can answer this, but I just want to put this in the ethos. All the work that these kids are doing for the mental health fair, is there some way that they can get some kind of credit for that?
They did, so
Oh, they did.
they presented at the Civics Fair and
Yeah,
they
I saw
won
that.
gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they
Oh,
won
yeah.
first place, so they did it as part of their civics project too. So this was like something that they saw, they wanted to do, and then they went and did it. So
Yeah.
so they were recognized through that as well. Through the
And also, I
civics.
believe the state and some representatives recognize also. the
Yeah, and they all
teachers.
received citations that night from the mayor and from the lieutenant governor. So they did get citations, and they were presented that night.
So when I say credit, I mean like course credit, like high school
Oh,
credit.
I'm
I mean, credit.
sure. Oh, I'm
Like-
sorry.
No, that's okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. I
Yeah.
mean like high school credit, because I know there is something in the new
Yeah, I was thinking. about those things as
graduation
well.
requirements that says that kids can get outside credit, but I don't know what that looks like.
I mean, I'm not sure about the credit piece. They might be able to use it as like their senior project or something like that, especially those students were juniors, so as they go into their senior year,
Yeah.
they may be able to use it as a senior project, which
Yeah,
right
so it
now
might-
is needed to graduate.
Yeah, so in my, my understanding, the students were working on a civic project, and this for the class, and wanted to focus on mental health. And the students area was inspired for what they saw at Brown University
Yeah.
when the teachers actually went there. So they wanted to actually do a physics project, which the state gave them award for. Yeah, so they wanted to focus on the mental health fair and they partner with the health departments. So
Great ideas. I love that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It was great.
I love this.
Yeah, me too, it was fun.
And do we have any other questions? No, okay. The next thing we have a nutrition and physical activities, and we don't have any other board member here, and also we only have a couple people here, so we're gonna do this the next time that we meet in our last meeting for this committee.
That was actually, I was gonna say, that was just, in regards to the wellness, the draft of the wellness policy. So that is still in the folder, so if anyone still wants to read it and comment, I know there's some people that will be looking at it over the summer. I presented it to cabinet, and there were some pieces that my team was going to look at for social emotional. I know when we met last time, our subcommittee, on healthy relationships, we felt like there was some maybe social emotional, pieces missing. So maybe working on that, and reaching out to Karen, I know she can't be here today, but, so just to kind of clean that up maybe through the summer and then in, September, look at it, because then it does have to go to.
Policy.
Yes.
Yeah, I had, was on that committee, that subcommittee, Chairman, and, we were working diligently like with all these ideas, and some of these ideas were, arranging like a dancing session, trying to make it fun, the physical activity. And the nutrition is just that, is what we saw today. Some of those recommendations that we've implemented with the, better nutrition, the free and reduced lunch program, making that more universal. So I'm pleased that we've made some progress, and I'll be happy to share some of those ideas too, because I know some of those members are no longer, like Joanna is no longer on that committee, and she was instrumental as well, so.
I think it's like, we have a good draft, I think it's just
Definitely.
adding in
Yes.
some pieces.
And yeah, again, if you could have access to our document, just reach out if you have any questions. And then John, thank you for the amazing work that you're doing for the subcommittee. And yeah, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
And a second. And thank you everybody for coming in. Again, we Aaron from Sodexo couldn't present today. Please, if you have any questions, send it to us, and we're gonna make sure.
There's the Google form is in
Yes.
there, I put a link that it says, Sodexo presentation Google form, and if you click on that, and then you go in, there's a link, just click on it, and then you can fill it out, and I put him as like a collaborator, so it'll go to him and I'll let
Yes.
him know.
And also, yeah, another update I forgot. So the district have a new person that's obviously curriculum.
What is it?
Away for curriculum, because we were supposed
The new academic, sure.
yeah, academic.
Oh,
So
yes.
till today, I haven't actually, if we can really make this happen. It's been like 4 months now, and that by the state amended this committee by the end of each year actually to review. So this curriculum. So please set up a meeting with me if I'm not available. Ms. Tony can attend. So we even talked about sex education, physical activities. We need to meet. Even over the summer, it's not happening. So I'm concerned. And yeah, so yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you so much, Alvi. We appreciate you.
So,
Yes, thank you.
You can send it
and I
to-
don't have
Say,